Ever wonder what myth is shaping your view about marriage? Today, we are going to be debunking some of those myths that singles have about marriage.
Buckle up, listen up, love is thriving on the relationship hub with a smart couple. Relationship hub with a smart couple. Yeah, 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 yeah. Ba-da-da-da-da-da-da. Ba-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. We're on relationship hub with a smart couple.
That's right. Welcome to the Relationship Hub with the Smart Couple. We are
And let's
so
also
excited.
say Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
To you.
Yes, yes. We hope that this is going to be a great starter for you singles, as I know you have hopes and anticipations to get hitched this year. So let's go.
All right. Let's heat it up by you starting up.
Okay, so there are several myths that most singles have about marriage. And one of those myths are, if we have conflicts in our marriage, it means that the relationship or the marriage is basically over. That is a very, very wrong belief system about marriage. You know, when it comes to marriage, right? Because you have conflicts does not mean that the marriage is over or the person is no longer who the person is.
Right.
You know, we want to believe that you must have gone through several, steps before actually getting married. But in one of our courses that we did, we will talk about conflicts. One of the things that we said is conflicts can be something good, because every conflict kind of gets an issue resolved. When we have a conflict, something is the problem, we deal with that problem, we move it aside. Out of 10, now we have 9 to deal with. Every time there's a conflict, the misunderstanding you have in your marriage reduces, because that conflict roots out or weeds out all of those things that, causes friction, and you guys can deal with it. So conflict, if you handle it properly, can actually bring you guys closer together.
Right.
So when next you see conflict, don't run away from conflict. Watch our videos on how to fight in love and resolve your conflict and get closer together. So that myth is debunked.
Another myth that people have about marriage is that love alone can make marriage work. Well, I tell people all the time that love alone cannot make marriage work. There are so many factors that make marriage work. So just thinking, I feel so good, he feels so good about me, he loved me when we started, as we are dating, I know how much he loved me, he can do everything for me. It doesn't make marriage work.
Yeah.
Because time is going to come, there are so many things that you neglect or ignore because of love that will later start coming up and start choking the love out of the marriage. When those things that you guys ignored in the initial time start raising up their heads, it start choking the relationship, and before you know it, you start feeling so bad. I've seen people who have broken marriage, who have broken their relationship, and say, although I love him, but I don't think we can be together.
We just can't be together. But do they love each other?
They do. There are so many things that involve that. Sometimes cultural values,
finances,
sometimes finances, the person's attitude of resolving issues when issues come up, communication,
all of those things.
So most of those things are very important in considering. So love alone is not enough to make marriage work.
That's why love is great. It's good to have love, because without love, you can't go forward. Don't be blinded by love. And I think one of the things that most singles need to pay attention to is to always have someone who is unbiased about their relationships. Allow those people to actually see and speak.
That's correct.
So that way, because sometimes people are so blinded by love that even when there's danger, they're just so overwhelmed by the euphoria of the butterflies and all of that, and they don't see the problems until they are settled in the marriage, and now the real issues arise. The guy is playing video game all day long, and now you're working, and the guy is not doing anything, or vice versa, and all of a sudden, what happened to the love?
It's gone.
It's gone. So love is not enough.
Love is just like a good fruit that is planted among thorns. That if you don't weed those thorns out, or you don't pay attention to those thorns, it chokes that seed, that beautiful seed. That's the same thing with love.
So another myth that singles have about marriage is that marriage is going to fix that character flaw, that trauma, that thing in your life that you've not taken care of. Many people feel, well, once I get married, all of this will be over. Marriage amplifies what is already in you.
Right.
If you are a lonely person, when you get married, you think that person, because you got married, you're going to find company, you will become lonelier. If you are an aggressive person, you think, well, I hate people, only this person, and maybe when I get married, I'll stop being aggressive. When you get married, you realize that that aggressiveness becomes more amplified.
Right.
So anything that you are, if you've had trauma, and you've not dealt with the trauma because you feel when I get married, maybe my husband or my wife will fix me. You know, things are just going to get better once we get married. No. Everything that is that looks silent now will be amplified in marriage. So marriage will not fix your bad character. It won't fix anything about you. So if you want want a good marriage, fix who you are now. Deal with whatever you're going through now before you get into marriage.
And that's why you see sometimes when people come to us, when they're planning to get married, that left a particular relationship, maybe they experience heartbreak, and they just want to have someone to rebound. I tell them that, have you finally or actually overcome that situation that you've been going through? If the answer is no, I advise them to hold on before they move into another relationship, because at the end of the day, you're going to make the other person's life miserable.
Yes.
And not because you really want to, but because you thought you were healed, but you're not.
That's right.
So it's good to fix whatever is going on with you before you jump into another relationship.
Marriage is not a fixer.
And another myth is that some people just believe that when they get married, intimacy will just be effortlessly done. That they will just start doing it day, night, every time, afternoon, night. But it doesn't really work that way. Marriage comes with responsibilities, and responsibilities have a way of making you feel a certain way. Let me not go too deep, but it makes you feel a certain way.
I think the thing is, we have a video on this that explores deeply about sex. So, but you have to be a member to be able to watch. So, So when you, before you get married, just make up your mind. Just know for real that there are days where you will not even feel like anything. The same thing, your spouse may not feel like doing anything. It comes with the terrain. It is what it is. So just don't get into marriage with that mindset. If not, you will be disappointed. Not because anything is happening in their heart, not because they don't love you. Intimacy in marriage is not something that have to happen every time. Sometimes you have to make it happen. That is why we say some effort need to be put in. So another myth that I think a lot of singles, especially in this newer generation, a lot of singles have about marriages, they can go into marriage without any form of education. You know, they believe, like we said in the beginning, as long as we love each other, we don't need no therapist. We don't need no counselor. We don't need no coach. We don't need to nothing. We'll just, we understand each other. We'll just go ahead and do it. I think for every single person watching this, the most important decision you're ever going to have to make is who you marry. Think about if you've ever thought about buying a car or a house, or even, put down some amount of money to start a business. You think about how much research did you do before you made that decision for something as fleeting as a house or a car or, anything. But now when it's time for a destiny decision, you think you can just fly and just go with love? It ain't gonna work, So the good thing is you have access to videos like this. You have access to coaches like us. It's important to get yourself properly educated about marriage and the principles and the concepts of marriage before you get married. Because like we said before, loving each other alone is just the beginning. But there's a whole lot that comes on top of that love. So get educated.
Good. Another myth that people have is that commitments limits your freedom instead of deepening it. But
I think that's why they say marriage is a prison. When they're doing, they say, "Oh man, you're about to get into prison." They don't want to get married because they feel like, "Oh my God, you're about to lose all your freedom."
You want to, but it's not really true. If you marry someone that you understand and you have understanding of what marriage is, you'll find out that there are some things that you have to give up on. There are some things that you have to stop doing.
Yes.
But it's not like being in prison like you think that is going to limit or is going to just tie you down and stop you from being free to live life. I have seen people who have achieved more after they got married.
Yes.
And marrying the right person, having the right communication, and communicating your lifestyle, your goals, your career path, and things like that with understanding can help you eliminate that idea of lack of freedom or limiting you from doing what you want to do.
Yeah.
Is it everything that they will allow you to do when you're married?
Absolutely not. I mean, that's just reasonable.
Yeah.
You know, for example, the office of the president.
Yeah.
If they used to walk around and go get a burger, they can't do that anymore.
Yeah.
So the marriage comes with some some restrictions.
That's true.
It is what it is.
It's life.
Yeah, it is what it is.
It's life. But it's not in a bad way of saying, I'm just going to be in the prison. I have said many young guys when they are talking about marriage, you want to give up your freedom? You want to get married, giving up your freedom? No, man, don't do that. Don't do that. No, it's not true.
Even women believe that, and that's where the whole issue of submission. Oh my God, I'm going to do this. I'm not going to have my life. I'm going to be in prison. No, when you marry the right person, you can believe
have the right communication.
Live the lie, honey.
Yeah, you will leave.
That's right. Another myth that most singles believe about marriage is that the person that I marry is going to understand me, take me as I am. I don't need to change. You know, this is who I am. If you love me with all of this, all my flaws. I don't have to do anything. You know, we've heard that now. This is who I am. I can't change.
Several times.
You know, I can't change. No, honey. The person you love may love you as you are, but they're expecting that you grow up and shed some of those nasty behaviors.
Right.
You know, because we love you or because the person loves you doesn't mean that they are not being hurt by your situations. We've had an example where a guy can say, oh, you know, it's just in my nature. You know, I just get so angry. It's just who I am. You know, so don't get me mad. Hello.
You have to grow up.
You got to grow up.
Yeah, some growing up you got to do.
That's right. So the person that loves you does not always have to accept the things that you do.
Right.
And I think that's where, like what you said earlier, when some people may say, oh, we broke up, but I still love them.
Yeah.
They broke up because of some certain things
that
you were doing that although they loved you, they just couldn't tolerate anymore.
Right.
So because someone loves you does not mean that they have to tolerate your excesses. In other words, make it easy for you to be loved. We hope that this myth has actually been debunked in your mind and that you can now begin to have a better understanding of what marriage looks like before you actually get into it. If you want us to become your relationship coaches, feel free to check out the website on the screen right now. Most of all, please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the notification bell so that you will be the first to get notified when we post new content. We will see you in another episode. Ciao.
Subscribe and hit that